A cozy little group tonight.
Who are the attendees? It's Lori?
No, she dropped off.
No, those are panelist attendees. Can you manipulate that?
Hey, Dave,
Larry, can you manipulate who's?
you're very dark. You need to put a light in front of your camera.
Let me
Maybe it was intentional.
see if I can find something.
Just put one of your girls in front of the camera. That would be light enough.
Thank you, Paul.
All right, on the record. Good evening, everybody. This is the Citywide Neighborhood Committee, our committee meeting on the 8th of December, and we have a very interesting meeting going on. We have a Portsmouth 400 not only an update, it's the first time we'll have a chance to listen to what's going to happen in 2023 and what we may have to do in 2022, those of us who are still here. And then we have Mark Syracusa, who will talk a little bit more about the lights contest, along with Stephanie Secord. So with that, the attendance, I'm taking the attendance now. We have definitely a quorum. Thank you very much, Dave, for showing up, and Mark.
Oh, good.
And we have Paul Mantle, Beth Margison, and Lori Soloway, and myself. So we have everybody here. I don't see Jim Splain, but he may be on vacation or doing other things. Okay, now we take an attendance. The first order of business, is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to talk to us about a neighborhood complaint, a neighborhood problem, or something that we may be able to help them with for this committee? If so, raise your hand.
No, we have to see attendees.
Obviously not.
Obviously not.
Oh.
All right, we'll leave that open.
So, Larry,
Yeah.
I would like to make the comment for the record for all of you is that there is a meeting about the redesign, reconstruction of Bartlett Street tomorrow night. It's in person in conference room A and by Zoom, and it starts at 6:30. And the idea is that when the city starts work on Bartlett Street, they're looking at the space between Dennett and Ricci Lumber and want to hear what the public wants to see there in terms of traffic calming or landscaping or any of the above. So it's on the city calendar tomorrow night at 6:30.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, is there are there any other comments relating to problems or issues with the neighborhoods? And if I can, Stephanie Secord is the Public Information Officer formerly for the City of Portsmouth and formerly for the Marketing Director of Strawberry Bank Museum. Stephanie, you're going to discuss the Portsmouth 400 committee and some of the things they have planning to do in the 2022-2023?
Correct. So I will attempt to share my screen. This is always fraught.
Oh, the participants. Oh, we still can't see the participants.
Yeah, I thought I saw Denise Wheeler on.
Yeah, Denise is my partner in crime here tonight. So
Is she?
We need to promote her to
Share screen.
panelist. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to push, click on the participants. Yeah. Where'd Kevin go? Oh,
We want
participants.
Stephanie to be able to share the whole screen.
He is a panelist.
So,
Yeah.
Kevin, could you make it so that we can see the participants?
Well, no, because the participants don't. I mean, you can look at the list of them right there, the attendees.
Yeah, that way we can see if they're raising their hand.
And would they raise their,
It'll show the little hand down there in the participants
Especially
section.
Denise Wheeler. I mean, she's.
If you
she's
want
up
Denise
there.
to be a panelist,
Make her a participant if you can. And then anybody else who is up there?
I wouldn't advise making everyone a panelist. But I mean, I can, if they raise their hands, I can promote them.
Just put the panel on the side.
Yeah.
Just makes it a lot easier. I thought you could do that with a screen.
where does the hand show up if they want to say something?
It would show up under the participants there. You would see the
Yeah.
yellow hand in
Oh, you
the
would.
other room looking at it so that I can let them speak.
Okay.
Okay. That Denise?
Hi, Denise.
Hi, Denise.
You're on mute.
Yep. Hey, you're up.
So,
It's your business now. And we're all listening. We have lots of questions.
I'm just screen sharing from my end for a PowerPoint presentation, but I'm not seeing it.
I think we're just looking at your Zoom screen right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
does
what
say
else?
you're sharing your screen, but it's the wrong screen.
Okay, let's try that. Something different then.
There we go.
There we go.
Yay.
Okay, excellent. All right, so now all I need to do is.
Close it.
Yeah.
Ah,
Okay, so
Are we
when we come
good?
back, we want to do the same thing with the other. Okay. Thank you. Okay, we're ready.
So I will proceed through this, and then, because I can't see you when I'm doing this, so I will fill you in and then maybe take questions at the end. Is this what I'm doing, and Denise will correct me when I veer off the path here. Are the managing director of the Portsmouth NH 400 Inc. is Valerie Rochon, and she is actually traveling at the moment, so she sends her deepest apologies that she can't be here, but she's trusting me to pinch it with Denise's able support. So first of all, we only recently, I think a couple of weeks ago, finalized the logo for the 400th, which is what you're seeing on the screen. The blue is, of course, a reflection or an echo of the ocean. And Portsmouth NH distinguishes us from all of the other Portsmouths around literally the world. We're actually having a first conversation with the Lord Mayor of Portsmouth, England on Friday, because they're very interested in participating.
Wow.
As we hope our other sister cities are.
That is really far out.
Yeah, and it will be very useful to have someone with Lord Mayor qualifications when we're trying to attract maybe royalty as of the whole country to the parade or one of the events, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So the logo is blue, Portsmouth NH, we have the dates in it, and then the lighthouse is somewhat the specific Portsmouth Light, which is the one at the Coast Guard station, but there are three lighthouses, as we all know, that mark the entrance to Portsmouth, are symbols of welcome, and as our city manager came up with our tagline, history lights our way. So there's the past, future, present, all of that. So the lighthouse is a fun identifier for that one. So, let me see, there we go. So celebrating past, present, and future. The organization is Portsmouth NH 400th, actually TH Inc. And we are listed as a nonprofit with the Secretary of State of New Hampshire, which was what we needed to get to our final paperwork for the IRS. So we are able to have people give us tax deductible donations through actually a city secure portal. And if you just go to the city website, you'll see a donations button, and Portsmouth 400 is one of those. But the major explanation, all of the information for the celebration, what I just described on the logo, and a donate here, and we'll have a volunteer here button, is at portsmouthnh400.org. So you will undoubtedly, if you went to the parade, have seen the contingent from Portsmouth NH400 carrying various signs, asking people to get involved, donate. We handed out business cards. We were the group, I shouldn't say we, because I wasn't actually there, but Denise was, dressed all in white with blue lights, and a truck, and a DJ, and a mini horse. We don't do anything halfway. We like to surprise people and keep it interesting and keep it fun. In fact, Denise is our Minister of Fun, Denise, Director of Fun.
You like to pop champagne when you say that.
According to your website, it's Officer of Fun.
Yes, of course. How could I? So the vision and mission, the whole concept is that the Portsmouth 400 is celebrating what's important to you. We want to be diverse, inclusive, past, present, and future, all ages, all demographics. We are working very hard to make things financially accessible. I mean, obviously, when we're trying to raise money, there is an entrance fee, but for all events, even some of the fancy ones that we're thinking about down the line, there will be an affordable entry level. So we're really interested in that. Both making sure the history is accurate and is inclusive, where even though the 400th goes to 1623, we also recognize that there were people living here for 13,000 years before 1623, and we want to reflect that story and reflect on that story and really celebrate everyone who has made Portsmouth what it is. So this is kind of an overview of all of the descriptors that go into the vision and the mission. The values, as I said, seek historical accuracy, diversity, inclusion, respect, and accessibility.
Dire.
But where you all come in, very much so, is developing, generating, cementing, making a future out of community pride through education and engagement. I'll be talking more about the education pillar and how we're working with the schools, but education is really all ages. Sustainability is certainly central to the city's mission. We're an eco-municipality. We do have ordinances on the books about single-use plastics, so we'll be making sure as best we can that every event and activity is a reflection of our commitment to sustainability. And as I said before, and why Denise is here, is fun. Pop the champagne. So the goals, and I won't read this to you, but again, all of these are on the website. So the key ideas here are focusing on events, programs, projects that help us realize and embody all of those mission value things, especially the fun, but also picking up the history, the documentation of the history from where we left off with the 350th. They came to Fish book. Ray Brighton's book was actually written for the 350th. So we're doing a couple of variations on telling the story but also telling stories that haven't necessarily been included in past formal histories. So that it's another way of really generating some excitement from the students, particularly in the high school courses. Civic engagement is so key right now. Portsmouth is a city that really from the beginning, almost the beginning, was engaged, well, literally from the beginning of the Revolutionary era. If you want to talk about civic engagement, means liberating the gunpowder from Fort William and Mary, and that's a different kind of civic engagement. But getting involved, we are part of New Hampshire, why we are the first in the nation primary, why Bill Gardner is very energized by the idea that New Hampshire is the state that made us the nation. And all of this, I mean, one of my things as a person with history background is that we are also approaching the 250th for the Declaration in 26. So a lot of the things that we're doing on the history side, particularly on the Revolutionary War era, which is just one slice of all of the 400 years of history, really has that in mind as well. But as I said, moving forward, what are the things that we can capture that become part of who we are, that become an expression of who we are? We have many things that have come to pass, including Vintage Christmas that is now, it's been around for I think 13 years, hard to believe, but it's one of the reasons that Portsmouth is a national destination, an international destination for the tourism economy that means so much to our local economy and our performing arts, our restaurants, our retail. But we are intentionally not making this a celebration for visitors. This is a celebration for residents. It's a celebration for the citizens of Portsmouth. We're all first. The neighborhoods are the heartbeat of Portsmouth. And that's why talking to all of you and asking you to help us generate excitement for the 400th among the neighborhoods is so important, because people should not think, oh, this is for everybody else. No, it's for you. It's taking, as we've talked about in the neighborhood meetings, the citywide neighborhood meetings, the idea of taking what happens with National Night Out and making that really Portsmouth instead of something you can find in any other town. So that's kind of the philosophy here. Okay, so the way this all works, and I'll try to be clear and simple, although there are lots of moving parts, as you can imagine, to celebrate everything that I just talked about and do it properly, accurately, and keep it fun. There is an executive team which consists of Valerie Rochon, the managing director, the Officer of Community Engagement, Susan Labrie. Her role is fundraising. Karen Conard, our city manager, is a member of the team. Denise is our Officer of Fun. Trevor Bartlett is our quote-unquote marketing guy. Every time we talk about it, he's got a slightly different title, but he's the one that made the parade come together in such an amazingly visual form. But he's also the guy behind the website and social media and doing kind of the production values for this. And I am a dotted line report to all of those people in my capacity as information officer for the city of Portsmouth. So I'm responsible for the PR, for some of the writing, all that kind of stuff. At the same time as that executive team, because Portsmouth NH 400 Inc. is a 501c3 nonprofit, there's the board of directors. So the board of directors, it consists of the executive team. I think, Denise, I think you're all on it, but we also have some additional members. Steve Butzel, who is the public library director, Ron Baisden, who is a member of the African Burial Ground Memorial Stewardship Committee, and Ann Jennison, who is Abenaki, who is a storyteller at Strawberry Bank. She has her own business as a storyteller, but she's been with Strawberry Bank for 5 or 6 years. So we have Native American representation, we have African American representation in Ron, and we have Marlon. Denise, what's Marlon's last name?
I think it's Pinto.
Right, thanks. So he is a high school, Portsmouth High School
Sophomore.
sophomore.
He'll be a senior in 2023.
Yes, exactly. So we have on the board a range of a diverse group of people in age, demographics, everything. So that's the formal organization. The executive team is driving the train. Then there's a management team, and those are the people who are out working with all of the partners, the collaborators, the neighborhoods, for example, the arts and culture organizations, anyone and everybody who wants to play in this sandbox are being connected through the management team. So there are 7 groups. Each of them has a team leader. And I will quickly run through those 7 groups just to give you a sense of where you might find an interest, where things match up. And you'll see one group in particular is definitely aligned with the Citywide Neighborhood Committee. But so quickly, we have the Arts and Culture Group, which is, as you would expect, it's all of our performing arts venues, it's our independent artists, it is people who are doing events like Portsmouth Peace Treaty Day falls in the Arts and Culture Group. And by the way, you will see through all of this that, as I said in the mission and values, history is the thread. 1623 to 2023 is the thread that runs through all of this, but we haven't put history in any particular bin because it doesn't make sense. It's woven through the whole thing. So we have arts and culture. We have military and maritime, reflecting the influence of the shipyard and how Portsmouth became the port city that it did, and how Portsmouth's fortunes have risen and fallen on the tide of the success in the industry at the shipyard, building on our shipbuilding history before we were even a nation, and also our Air Force and our Air National Guard, all of the other military influences. When we did the proclamation Monday night for Purple Heart community recognition, this is a military town, which I don't need to tell any of you, but we want to make sure that that's a key component of this celebration. And then the kind of civilian side of that is all of the maritime activity and our waterfront. Not only do we have a working waterfront, but we have a waterfront that draws people from all over the world for a variety of reasons, boating and beaches and fishing and all of the kind of recreational opportunities. But we also have those container ships and the salt ships and Navy ships coming up and down the river that are part of who we are. And the water is rising. So the picture you see down the bottom in the middle is from the sea level rise exhibit that's at Strawberry Bank that was put together in cooperation with the city, with the Stormwater Division. So one of the things that's going to happen in 2023 is a symposium about the threat to who Portsmouth is, looking from the water, looking at our lighthouse, and how sea level rise is affecting the waterfront, both the working waterfront and the recreational waterfront. And we are also hosting a national conference called Keeping History Above Water that has been held in Annapolis and Newport and Salem and Long Beach and Fort St. Augustine. So we're having the scholarly approach, the get out on the river in a kayak and see what's happening, a hands-on kind of thing. All of that falls under maritime and military.
Hey, Stephanie?
We have the education, yeah.
I don't know if this has been brought up before. This is Paul.
Yeah.
Have you reached out to the shipyard to see if they already have ships, subs scheduled to come in 2023 so that they can have advance notice of participation or to stay away?
So yes, we definitely are in communication. The team leader for the military maritime team, her dad works for the shipyard, but also Portsmouth is about to become, we may have become it, and we just haven't, the plaque hanging hasn't taken place yet, but Portsmouth is the host community for the USS Cheyenne.
Okay.
That just came into the shipyard, and we're the official community for them. So we're going to be keeping the sailors entertained for the next 2 years, but we're also going to put them to work.
Like the old days.
Yeah, I mean, hey, all the unpaid labor we can use.
Yes,
By the way.
exactly. And the Navy wants the sailors to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
The reason that the shipyards support this community, this matching community thing, is so that the Navy can demonstrate how our tax dollars are actually going back into the community with some help. So,
Okay.
you guys are always terrific.
The only other thing I wanted to say is I am a big fan of the film that you and Dennis Robinson made about 15 years ago.
Yes.
I think that should be required viewing for anybody associated with the Portsmouth 400.
Well, it absolutely does give you that quick,
It gives you the reason why we are the reason why.
yes. Yeah, exactly. And actually, the Portsmouth Historical Society is thinking about or trying to do some fundraising to update that film. The good thing about history is that you can have a film that's 15 years old and it's still accurate. But
It is.
I look a little different these days. So, and we've got
They call that Photoshop, Steph.
lots of other voices to get in there too. So yes. And you know, you raised the really good point that we have a meeting of this management team every 2 weeks because they're each working within their individual pillars.
Yeah.
But there's so much overlap. It's impossible to separate the pillars. So when we get in a room together, somebody says, well, you know, we've started to do this, and somebody across the room who's with a different pillar says, oh, do you know so-and-so? Have you thought about this? Did you know that the Cheyenne is in town? That kind of stuff. So it's a really interesting and very actively engaged group of people. Military maritime education At the moment, Bob Lister, our former mayor and former superintendent, is the de facto team leader for education, but he's really looking for some backup, as in someone to take it on so he can provide consultation, but he is definitely leading the charge. He has met with the students, with the Honor Society advisors, with a couple of groups, and with our board member as well, of course, our student. But talking about things that the students are interested in doing. Oral histories, creating an app of maybe having a way that you can see all of those blue history markers, or other ways of looking at the history of Portsmouth. But they are key to this concept of having the 400th celebration be a way to engage the next generation. Because, as you know, the people right now who tend to go to historical programs or reenactments or whatever tend to be folks of a certain age, like me. And we really want to convey the idea that history is fun. History is about people, and people are the fun part. It's not about memorizing a lot of dates and being bored. It's fun, and it's energizing, and it's how can you take pride in the place you live and what that place and its people have accomplished over time. So the education pillar is really cool, doing some very fun stuff. Commerce and trade is the 5th pillar, and that is looking at the, one of the ideas is to put together a beer fest, a beer festival with all of the brewers in the city that both harkens back to Frank Jones and is the active and engaged commercial side of Portsmouth that makes us the place that we are. The fisheries are involved, and also that links back to our military and maritime. And then community and neighborhoods, which obviously is key to your interests. You are key to the community and neighborhoods interests. The person who is the team leader for the community and neighborhoods group is Dawn Perhosian. You may know Dawn because she is the person with the business of doing bicycle tours around Portsmouth. She's based at the John Paul Jones House, and so she has been through all the neighborhoods, and in order to tell the stories of those places to visitors, she's really done a lot of research. She's worked very hard at being accurate and being entertaining while not sugarcoating things. I mean, part of being accurate in our history is telling the good as well as the bad. So that's what people are interested in and ask questions about, and we want to be upfront with how we got where we are and why we're still learning and how we continue to become even better. So Dawn has started to identify things that are already happening, like National Night Out, like the Westival, like the Haven School Flag Day event that Sherm Pridham puts together at Strawberry Bank with the Puddle Dock neighborhood and the Haven School alums. So Dawn is really the key person. She's working, as you may or may not guess from the picture in the middle, she's working with the Italian community, and some of those people were very actively still actually involved in our sister city relationship with Sant'Arcangelo, which is where a lot of the families of the Italian families of Portsmouth came from. The Farinis and Semprinis and Gargantas and all of those people are engaged, as well as the BIPOC group, the multicultural, multiracial. First festival was this year. She's working with the Black Heritage Trail and the Juneteenth festival that they're putting together. So all of the rainbow in many different senses that makes Portsmouth and makes the neighborhoods whole, and wanting to make sure that everybody feels included, so that events aren't just taking place in Market Square. She really wants to get out into the neighborhoods, and has to be relying on all of you to figure out the best way of doing that, and how to engage people, and how not to forget anyone, and not reinvent the wheel, not suggest that all of this has to be new and nobody's ever done this before. We know that's not true. We know that there are all sorts of things that have been going on as traditions in Portsmouth forever, seeming forever. So we need to get everybody to the point of understanding that this is about what you'd like to do. This isn't some architecture of people organizing things and telling folks what to do. It's grassroots, if ever there was one.
Stephanie, I've already met with Dawn, and we've talked a little bit about it, and I think we'll probably have there'll probably be a number of programs designed to work with the neighborhoods and Portsmouth 400. So I'm looking forward to for next year.
Yeah, that's excellent, because this is her slide about some of the things that are already kind of being thought about, working out details, and really starting next year, which already is less than a month away, to do some fundraising for the overall effort. So she's got a couple of fundraisers involved, matching up with things that are already happening, like Riverfest, Westival, as I said, the BIPOC. So one of her ideas is a Little Italy Carnivale in August. So lots of fun things to just kind of fill in the blanks. Then signature events. We know we're having 3 signature events. The first one will be the Portsmouth 400 Parade on the 3rd of June, 2023, which it would be great if we had someone, as happened in the 350th, Prince Charles was here, so we'll see if our friends in Lord Mayor's office can make that happen again, or representatives from our 7 sister cities, other Portsmouths in the U.S., lots of opportunities there. And judging from the turnout for the Illuminated Holiday Parade, people are really anxious to do that again. I think there were something like 1,000 participants in the parade. Bryn Sullivan, who's the coordinator for the parade for the city in the recreation department, had over 90 different units in this parade. She usually has about 75. So there's a groundswell of that. Bryn and Trevor and Monty Bohannon, who Trevor and Monty do the Halloween parade, which Denise has been engaged in as well. So Portsmouth does parades like nowhere else, as we know. That's June 3rd. The second signature event is going to be a community dinner in, I think, Market Square. Not sure about the venue, but it's going to be outdoors, big long table that everyone can come to. We may all dress in blue, the blue of the logo. Details to be determined, but that's looking like August 28th. And then the third event is adapting the air show to be a little bit more Portsmouth signature, but certainly the same level of participation by either the Thunderbirds or the Blue Angels. We're just waiting for confirmation of who it's going to be. So those are the big three events that are signatures, and then there will probably be other things that kind of fit in around those three. And then there are legacy projects. So what will be still standing come January 1st, 2024? What projects will be around? Will there be an app that the students develop that will let anyone and everyone follow the history trail through Portsmouth? Will it be a continuing website, as is suggested, a scoreboard for the athletic field? Who knows what it might be, though all of those ideas are still percolating, but leaving a visible mark, something that you can, I'm not sure you could hold the Music Hall arch in your hands, but you know what I mean. Something that's a tangible, ongoing, maybe it's a mural created by by many of the visual artists of Portsmouth, who knows? Portsmouth is good at doing something that nobody else has ever done, so we'll see what happens with that. So to summarize, the pillars are arts and culture, military and maritime, commerce and trade, education, community and neighborhoods, legacy projects, and special events. So we've got all of these pieces. Many of the things, as I said, are events or programs that already happen every year, and then we're tweaking them to be special for the 400th, and then adding some real highlights: parade, community dinner, and air show. So all of that costs money. The 350th costs, as you can see, $163,000. We're estimating that the signature events that we just talked about and a little bit of subsidizing, if we can, for community projects is probably going to cost us more like $563, given the costs of everything and the level of expectations that all of us have who live in Portsmouth for the quality and substance and excitement of events in Portsmouth. So it's going to take some fundraising. As I said, Susan Labrie is in charge of that effort, which is significant. We have, I think, about $40,000 already in the account from 2 years ago when this whole effort started, and then we got hit with the pandemic. So there are appeals being made to major corporations. Somebody may want to just pick up the tab for the parade. We'll see, sorry. But it also will take all of the organizations who want to do something for the 400th to really think about how they can help pay for it. It absolutely is not a situation where the Portsmouth 400 has a giant checkbook
$25 a person.
and we'll just write checks to everybody. That unfortunately can't happen. It's not the way Portsmouth works anyway. Everything we've ever done has been grassroots fundraising and a lot of passionate people who do things for free. For example, Darcy Creative created our logo for free. So there are a lot of ways to make things happen. I have said, having been a resident of the state to the south of us before I moved to New Hampshire 25 years ago, the New Hampshire advantage is that we know nobody else is going to pay for it. In Massachusetts, somebody has a budget, the state budget, the town budget, whatever, and they have lots of taxes to generate to do that. Here, it doesn't work that way. If you want something to happen, you got to figure out how you're going to pay for it yourself. So we do, and that's what's happening here, and you'll be hearing more about the ways that we're thinking of to raise money as we move into 2022. And beyond cash in the bank through the portal you can get to from the website, we will absolutely need volunteers. We have already created a form that lets people sign up and say the kinds of things they'd be interested in doing. The other great thing that I find in Portsmouth in particular is that when you say, I'd like to help, there's not somebody that hands you a bunch of envelopes to stuff. The first question is, well, what do you like to do? What are you good at? How would you like to participate? And then you go from there. So it's a real opportunity for volunteerism to be involved, to say after this is all over that I did that. And that's where we are right now. We're inviting participation. It's about everybody. It's about the people of Portsmouth and recognizing who we are, where we came from, what the last 400 years and before mean to us now, and what we want to look like in the future. So that's why we're talking to you and why we hope you'll get involved with us as well. You already are. So, onward.
That was really very informative. I love the idea that Portsmouth, England is going to be involved. I've been to Portsmouth, England. It's very, very different than us. It's much older, but they do have a naval shipyard, and they definitely have a seaport there, so it's very interesting. And yes, I know that Dawn had talked to me a little bit about some of the historic homes that are in the neighborhoods, and so I think we're going to have, if I'm here next year, we'll have some planning sessions just for Portsmouth 400, and I think I like that idea. And Denise, the Officer of Fun. What type of fun?
What did I leave out?
What type of fun will that officer be like?
So thorough. That was wonderful, Stephanie. Thank you.
I mean, I do all of the words. You do the fun.
We'll see. That remains to be seen. I hope I live up to it.
You will.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Thanks, by the way, that was that was such a inspiring. I'm excited
Absolutely
about the whole
terrific,
thing
yeah.
for it to come. I lived in Salem, Mass, and there also 1623 is what is when they were created or established, however they put it. Is there any coordination? I think that there's a few other cities down there too. For some reason, I think Marblehead is 1623. Is there any coordination? I mean, it's all, we're all in this together, as the saying has got created recently.
We're definitely coordinating with Dover and Hampton and Exeter. Trying to think who all
Of New Hampshire, yeah.
falls, because they're the same dates. And Denise, I think you were part of the conversation that Valerie had with Plymouth, trying to get some ideas.
I apologize because I have a bad connection here where I am. I apologize. But yeah, we have been in touch with Plymouth, which just had their 400th, and I met with Alex Herlihy last week because Rye, Ordium Point, is 400. So we're definitely working with all these communities.
Great.
But I'll make a note about Salem because I was not aware of that. Valerie may well be, but she has a good connection in Plymouth, who of course was doing all of their planning for 5 years in advance and getting a replica of the Mayflower rebuilt and all of these things that they were going to do in 2020, which they obviously did not do. So We're learning great ideas and how you can do things virtually as well as in real life. It just adds a whole other dimension and a whole new audience from around the world for all the stuff that we do.
Stephanie, well, first and foremost, thank you very much. That was extremely fascinating. I learned quite a bit. I've only been a resident for 20 years, so I'm still coming up to speed. But a couple of things, like one thing that came to mind when you showed that slide related to fundraising, if you adjusted that, whatever it was, $165,000 for inflation, I wonder if frankly we're spending less in terms of and might that be something to consider, because I was comparing a small number to
That's a great point, Dave. Great point.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I guess that says it's doable.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing I'd like to point out is some of you might be aware that I'm involved with trying to bring forth an action sports recreation facility in town, and I suspect if it goes through, it will likely get built in the year 2023 with a possible groundbreaking ceremony in 2023. So I see a natural synergy here, and just so you're aware, we also hope to have an in-person fundraising event this spring. We had planned on having one at 3S Art Space in October, but primarily due to COVID, we postponed that. So while not a signature event, something we could possibly tie in, and maybe there's even a way from a legacy standpoint to tie in a mural at the park there. I mean, there's been talk about a number of artists have come forward to participate in this project, and I can't think of a better way of.
Yeah, that's a fantastic idea. Because what I've heard from conversations about artists who are interested in creating a mural has always been, yeah, but where? And the skate park is a brilliant answer to that question.
It's Stephanie, maybe it isn't just a concrete wall in the back. It's very common practice now to integrate artwork into the park itself.
Yeah.
And that's not something that we've talked to Pillar Design, who is our design partner in this, but I see that as a huge opportunity to help market and also leave legacy with this park.
Yeah.
Dave, we've actually already started a History Through Art group, and we did a mural on Court Street, and we are trying to find other places and people that are interested in doing murals. The high school is thinking about doing a mural as their senior gift for the year 2023. And we have a team of architects and artists who will look at, for example, if it's a brick wall, what kind of material would hold up best and how long would it last? And we have a list of historic figures that we'd love to see up around town that are tied to this community. So if I can help you with that at all, it's called, we founded it as a nonprofit, and I'd love to get involved.
I have seen the mural, and it's phenomenal. It really is an amazing site. So, and I guess the other thing I can offer up possibly to you is I have a connection of artists that, many professional artists that are involved with hand painting, or not necessarily painting, but using other mediums to decorate skateboards that we plan to have at auction in sort of a gallery style format. And many, one of my best friend happens to be a muralist. He lives in California, and he's donated some pieces. But if you're open to artists outside of the Seacoast region, that's primarily where I have connections where I might be able to lend some support. So.
Yeah, it's a mix. And you also remind me to say quickly that the city, wearing my DPW hat, the city is very well aware of the fact that we don't want to dig up all of our main roads in 2023. We have to stage the construction that needs to happen and that is budgeted to happen in a way that is respectful of parade routes and highly visible areas and all of that. Obviously, we got set back a little with the pandemic, although Islington Street, the phase 1 is now complete, and that happened in the meantime. But all to say that there have been conversations for a while about what are the signature projects, the DPW projects that we want to have done for 2023. The wastewater treatment facility may not be the sexiest project in the world, but you know, a lot of the things about what make Portsmouth livable for us are key to this as well. So I can't believe I talked for that long. My God.
Yeah, well, you did a great job. I just want to ask if there's anybody who's listening in, if they have any questions. And while I can't see them on my screen, I think Kevin can. If anyone has any questions of the Portsmouth 400 people, would you indicate by raising your hand, please? Well, I know, but I know
good.
Denise has her hand raised. But
No, that's the pointer, Larry.
There
Okay.
we go.
All right, Lori?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Stephanie. That was really, really informative. I'm not closely involved, but I'm thinking about how best to volunteer and bring different groups together. So this is really helpful. I'm thinking about my own neighborhood of Little Harbor. So one of the questions I have, and people have asked me, the logo, which is great. Will groups be able to use that?
Good question.
Let me just make something up. Let's say there's a local church that wants to sell, I don't know, coffee cups or something, you know, with their church on it. And also, can they also put like the logo of Portsmouth 400 on it as well? Is that trademarked? Who did they have to ask? How would they do that? Things like that.
So yes, and I'm very glad you asked that question, because what we're asking anyone who is doing anything that is Portsmouth 400 related is to fill out a really short form that's online. It's going to be, we just finalized it, so it isn't quite yet on the website, but it will be at portsmouthnh400.org. So when you fill out that application, what that precipitates is a review by this management team of all the pillars to see where people have ideas that fit into the ideas that are already happening, to avoid duplication, because we'd rather have people partner on an idea like a mural instead of having 5 different organizations thinking we should have a big mural in the middle of town and wasting all of that excitement and energy when they could be working together to move the train forward with that energy. So the application isn't this big approval process. It's to let the team that is organizing the 400 let them know what's happening, who's doing what, make connections, and then once you've filled out that form and you are honoring the values of Portsmouth 400 of diverse, inclusive, accurate history, respectful, all of that good stuff, then you have the right to use the logo. So it's the form, that's the first step. And then we go from there, and we also have a marketing or a merchandising committee. So there will be opportunities, instead of 6 different organizations buying their own coffee cups, there might be one big order of coffee cups with a logo on it, and then the opportunity for you to put your logo on the other side. But we could do bulk purchasing of that.
Do you know who's doing the marketing? Is that Beth? Or
so Beth Gross Santos is doing the merchandising. Yes, she's starting to think about what things we can put the logo on. You know, how many thousand T-shirts we're going to need. But also coming up with some clever things. And I think we're all going to see lots of lighthouses in various forms in the next 2 years. But yeah, Beth is the kind of the team leader on that, and as well as Valerie. So any of us Denise or I or Valerie, all of our names and contacts are on the website, so that's where to start.
Thank you so much. That's really helpful information.
Right?
Thank you to everybody who's volunteering. I'm amazed at how much work has already been done. Very, very, very. I'm applauding you. Thank you.
The clock is ticking.
That's right. Any other questions from anybody? Just wait a second. Then I'd like to go to the next agenda item. First, again, thank you very much, Stephanie and
Thank you
Denise
all
for
giving
your
us the
help. And
opportunity.
yep, terrific.
I just want
absolutely
to
terrific.
ask, Stephanie, for purposes of just taking the minutes, can you send me those slides, just so I can attach them? Okay, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be very helpful, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the next point in business is Mark. You're going to talk a little bit about the Portsmouth Holiday Light Contest, and I'll see if I can get a couple of slides up, Mark, to show us what we did in 2020.
You want to try to do that now?
It'll take a while.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Is it in the bathroom?
No, he's going to get the slides.
I'll thumb through the few slides, and then we can stop.
Yes. That was the first thing I was going to say,
Oh,
Stephanie.
yeah, that's right.
See, I'm glad I got it there before the slides started.
There you go.
That's it.
We should have some holiday music.
Yeah, we need. So I'll just I will just thumb through these slides quickly, and then we can see
If you want to
the
run those
headlines
slides
that
while I'm
Stephanie
talking, that's
has.
fine. You'd rather look at the slides than me anyway.
These are from last year. They're
Yeah.
all winners of some sort. And I think you'll be familiar.
Rick's house.
I want to thank the judges last year for doing a terrific job. We'll be doing something similar this year.
Like that one.
Had a fairly even distribution among the various voting districts. Some of them, and of course,
Okay.
lastly,
Okay, there you are.
how
Yeah.
to register. And let's see, how do I get out of this now?
Well, you can leave it there.
Okay. Well, I wanted to show.
I want to see him.
You
wanna
can do
see
pause
you,
share.
Mark.
Yeah, we
Do
want.
pause
That's the
share.
reason we came to the meeting.
I'm trying to avoid. All right.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay. So the original mission statement for the mayor, Mayor Beckstead, is during COVID to have families get together and do something outside as a family. That was basically the premises of it. The contest consists of 3 grand prizes, $500 in each, donated by or bought through Mayor Beckstead, Lowe's, Home Depot, Reese Lumber. This year we decided to go all residential dwellings. So anybody, it could be a mobile home park, it could be a condominium, single-family homes, etc. Let's see, the registration began on November 26th, and it ends on December 10th, which is this Friday. Let's see, from that, the judging takes place between December 11th to the 19th, and then internal final judging December 15th and 16th. As of today, Stephanie, how many do we have registrants?
We have 35 residents, registrants,
Right.
and it went out in the newsletter today, and we always got a flurry of more people as it comes out in the newsletter and as the Facebook posts happen. So I'll be pushing it on social media for the next several days. We've got a banner on the website to remind people, so I think we'll probably get a last-minute rush.
Okay. So we did assignments of wards. Larry, Ward 5, Mark, Ward 2, Lori, Ward 3, Dave, 4, and Beth, you want to do 1?
Sure.
Sure, that's a yes.
Yes. Let me just make sure I have this right. Larry has 5, Mark has 2, Lori has 3, Dave has 4, and I have 1.
Correct.
And what are we doing? We're not the judges, though, right?
And after the registration deadline, that's when Stephanie and Dave are going to be doing, mapping.
The mapping of
Yeah,
everything.
is Dave willing to do the map this year?
Yes, absolutely. Stephanie, I know, I built sort of the initial map and the backing data, did the data transformation, but then you
Then I
magically,
put them
magically
together.
transformed it and glued it together. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, no, I can do that. If you do what you did last year,
Absolutely.
then I can do the map. And
Yep.
actually, I'm realizing that I will send you the 35 we have,
That'd be
so that
great.
if you want to get started,
Yeah, that way what I can do is I can build a map just with the 35 and build tables for judges so they have, because
Right.
part of what I need to do, I think we did last year, is go street by street and assign them to the respective wards, and then sort them, and then make sure that each judge has his or her respective
right?
properties to judge. So that takes a bit of time. It's a manual. I mean, I think I just looked up.
raising your hand.
You might have even given me the database to look in, Stephanie. I can go back to last year.
Yeah, the ward listing is on the website under the city clerk, under
Okay.
voting information. It says
Okay.
how to figure out what ward you're in.
Okay.
And I can just send that link to you
That would
when
be
I
great.
send you the addresses tomorrow.
I appreciate that.
I'm going to make a suggestion on starting the judging, even though it's officially December 11th to the 19th, is to, before we all go out, at least give this weekend. I'm sure there's going to be somebody that's going to register on the 10th and decorate on the 11th or 12th.
Right.
So,
And I think there will be people on Monday saying, we put up the decorations over the weekend, can we still play?
yeah, and then, Stephanie, you'll field that out.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so, anytime, and it's a small number as of now, unless Stephanie puts out a notice to me and Larry in the group saying that we just doubled that. What was the number last year? 70?
76, I think.
So there's the double. And that was the first annual, that was during, I can't say the height of COVID, but just a different environment now this year.
Yeah, quite true. I just want to clarify. So what we need, Mark, is a list. Each one of us need a list of registrants for our particular district, or
Right.
ward, I should
And
say.
that's going to come from Stephanie or Dave.
Well,
if
let's
so-
find out who.
Yeah, Stephanie will feed me the the registrants with their respective addresses. I'll have to, using the ward info spreadsheet or database, I'll go in and tag all of those registrants to their respective wards, sort that data by ward, and then feed it back to all of you judges. And
Okay.
at the same time, I'll also work on building the map, similar to what I did last year. Unless there's any feedback, Stephanie, if we'd like to go with a different format, maybe we can take that offline. But
No, I think it was great, and I already have people asking how they can see all the entrants, and I've told them there will be a map. Once the registration deadline is passed, we'll have a map that we'll put out promptly.
Okay.
do you
I
see
thought that was great. I
value?
love little snowflakes.
Yeah, okay. I'll do that again. Do you see any issues, it seems like it would be ideal to publish a table of all of the registrants, but I understand there might be privacy concerns there. Yeah.
Hey, Mark,
Yes,
how many honorable mentions did we give out last year?
all of them. A lot. Everybody, Everybody got a medal last year. Everybody got something, $25. Everybody meaning that,
Weren't there like about 25 or so?
It's $25 gift certificates.
No, weren't
There
there?
must have been 73 of them.
No, we had 24, I believe, 24.
yeah, we
had
narrowed it down
Was
to
it
the
24,
winners. So we had the grand prize winners and 2 or 3 people, 2 or 3 houses under that. So,
Yeah, the reason I'm asking is how many $25 gift certificates should I go for?
I think we had about 20.
4. That's what I was remembering too. We had 8 per category.
right.
And we had the grand prize, and the next 8 people got gift certificates.
We had that because we had the money. So,
Yeah.
you know, generally speaking, Paul and Mayor Beckstead went out there and found some dollars and added to the pool. And so whatever that
It was a
pie
group
is,
effort.
Yeah, some of
Right,
us
so-
contributed directly, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever that pie is, we'll just divide it up and,
Yeah. Yeah, so I'll shoot for 24, and if I get more than that, we will.
yeah,
But,
yeah.
you know, same thing, Market Basket, a few, Pick and Pay, a few, and then, you know, Cumbies and a few places downtown, and we'll
Yeah.
see what happens.
Part of the concept, theme, or mission is to, you're right, is to have essentials,
Yeah,
essential needs.
Yeah.
Which is Walmart, food.
yeah, exactly. And,
Yeah.
you know, my truck and I are available to take judges around.
Well, so we're doing the judging for the 2 categories, most creative, I think, and traditional. And then there's the kids' choice. And I kind of forget how we did this last year, but we actually solicited, or we picked families to go out and do that.
That's right. We had children in every
Yeah.
family who went out, and then some of us went out afterwards with a pause with one particular family in Ward 2. And so so some of us went out in anticipating that they may not be able to do it. And fortunately, they did.
Yeah, I mean, well, I had a lot of applicants for the Ward 4 last year, which
Right.
I had. So I forget how we got this, we solicited for the judges, for the kids' judges, for our wards, but we want to make sure that we do that.
And we didn't do that this year. We didn't go find families to judge. So we're the judges, and our families, or Dave, kids, my son's 19, he'll be, you know, he won't be around till the 17th, but
So
that's.
Mark, I had offered at a past meeting, if you'd like me to do this, you know, my kids can work with me and they can judge Ward 4, for example, but I can reach out to different families that I know throughout
Okay.
town to participate. I mean, we're basically just looking for a couple of kids per.
Yeah, we just need,
ward.
we
Yeah.
need 5 kids for
right.
each ward, that's it.
So in my-
Yeah,
in my
but
memory
I
stick-
mean, I think it'd be nicer to include other kids, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I like
agree.
doing the judging, but I think that, you know, kids' choice, it'd be nice, you know, I think
Have a kid choose it.
Degling gave us a family in Ward 1 last year, and
I'd like to apologize to the group, because I had that in my own minutes to myself. Dave will solicit and manage families to judge for
I will-
kids' choice.
I will send.
Just for
I will
kids'
post
choice.
something
yeah,
tonight.
that's for the kids' choice.
Yeah, the kids' choice, Dave's
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah,
take kids
okay.
or find a family or two to enjoy and drive around. You know, you'll see Star Wars and, you know, some of these things that the kids really like to connect to.
Frozen.
So just ballpark, maybe 10 in total, with try to get a distribution across wards, or maybe that isn't that important, just,
For kids' choice for one category.
yeah, like, let's say I end up getting 10 kids, allocate 2 per ward, maybe, and just
Right,
have,
yeah.
that way.
That would be okay.
Yeah, if they go out and take a look at 1 to 3 houses, that's fun.
But we only have 2 categories this year, correct?
We have 3.
3.
Yeah, 3.
So we have an entire category for kids' choice, so presumably
Okay.
kids will need to look
Yeah.
at all the properties,
So,
so.
yeah, so Dave, you're getting the kids together
Okay.
and running around, yeah, and going to look at kids' choice, and you'll know what, you know, how many, I don't know how many's going to be come, you know, Sunday, Monday, Stephanie will
That's
handle it.
fine. I
That'll be
suspect
fun.
I'll have likely more than enough volunteers. I had people approach me last year, so I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, for
that'll be
Ward
fun.
4, I had to pick, and I felt badly. I had like 3 or 4 families reach out to me to do it.
Hey, I got a truck, just throw the kids in the back, and we'll drive around at night.
Well, that's
That
another
sounds
thing,
safe.
you
That's
know,
not a
this is
bad idea.
We don't have anything etched in stone here, so.
We can bring Mark
it's
Newport.
about- The whole concept is about families. If you, Beth, Dave, anybody knows families that want to go out and ride around with a list and look at it, that's great.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be centralized by me.
Well, Dave's daughters don't want to go out with Dave, though.
I do have a creepy black van. I don't think you
I was going to say, a van would. Why they stopping in front of my house?
That's right.
A bunch of
There
kids
you
getting
go.
out.
It looks like you.
Why are we stopping here, Dad? I need a refreshment.
And also taking pictures.
Yeah.
You got 7 kids coming out and a couple of adults taking pictures of my house.
I know.
So if we get phone calls from the PD, that's,
Right. It looked like a SWAT raid.
yeah. No, all right.
Okay.
So is there any other thoughts, ideas, concerns, or?
Well, yeah, I just wanted to review the final schedule because let's see, the city council meeting is on the 20th, and so we really all have to get our act together on the 19th or earlier. And usually everything happens at the last minute, so no matter how careful, Mark, that we can plan on having things done on the 15th or 16th or whatever it is, it probably won't happen that way. But we still need the list by the 19th. They has to be forwarded to the mayor. I guess we can send it to you, Stephanie, and you can get it to the city council members. And for the meeting on the 20th, and
They make the announcement.
and then Mark, you can invite Dave's family, anybody you want for the announcement on the 20th. It's just a few minutes of city council
Yeah, the more-
meeting.
The more, in my hindsight is, my mind is just like the more kids, the better. I think it's a nice little experience for children to go down to city chambers and.
I would like that a lot, you know, I would.
It's been an experience with a skateboard park, and it's been quite the educational experience for the kids involved in skate, and I see that. So
Yeah.
I would like to see on December 20th, you know, let the mayor know, let city council know, and Karen.
The 20
And
the
the
20
Clipper Band is going to be there, so
Correct.
they traditionally
Have the
will
holiday
play
music.
a couple of-
Right.
Yeah, a couple of
Before.
carols. It's not, you know, it's more festive than your typical city council meeting.
Right.
Yeah, aside from a few
Well,
things,
the
yes.
final judging is, like you said, Larry, and thanks for bringing that up and pointing that out, Dave, about the 15th and 16th is the final judging.
I think it's gonna be a
Then
tough
all
meeting.
weekend. You know,
So-
Dave and Stephanie to, you know, just to gather everything up, and then I'll present, or somebody will present the 3 winners.
Well-
I'm confused about the
And if there's any
15th and
honorable
16th.
mentions, you know, we'll do that too.
It's kind of like a paper
About
filing.
the Standard rating scale.
Okay, I just have a question. I'm confused about the 15th and 16th if we have until the 19th. I'm not, so what are the dates that we need to be?
Okay, the dates are this. The 11th to the 19th is judging, but I'm going to highly suggest that you give
By the 15th or
everybody the
16th?
weekend, okay, for the last minute registrants. And so I would suggest by maybe the 13th or 14th, go out, which is Monday or Tuesday, start.
Okay.
And then that ends on the 19th.
which is a Sunday. You should probably cut that off on Saturday,
Yeah.
just so you have that day to figure out who won, who's second, who's third, who's fourth, whatever.
Well, but the final judging is the 15th and 16th. So the judging will shut off the 19th. If Dave and Stephanie, do you want to shut it off?
So here's the part, people are going to know that it's, that the judging is going to end on the 19th, but it's not. It's really ending on the 15th or 16th.
Yeah, I mean, we publicized the 19th, and people are not leaving their lights on 24/7.
Right.
So I think you kind of have to, I mean, I could certainly say that the last round of judging might be Friday night, and then
Which
the
is-
18th and the 19th give the judges time to sort through their decisions.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't said they're traveling around the neighborhoods to the 19th, we've just said judging to
Yeah.
the 19th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so if you
Yeah,
recall,
So Lori, what I'm assuming is on December 10th, the registration stops.
Right.
Yeah.
In reality, Stephanie knows that some people will trickle in over the weekend.
And some
And for our-
people,
And for our time,
some people
go out
decorate
there.
a little bit later. So I think that the dates are really, should be clear for,
Yeah, but they got to register for the concert. Who cares when they decorate?
Yeah, so they have to
Yeah, I think-
register by,
but
I
they
think we're-
care that they care that when they decorate, because they don't want to decorate, wait until the weekend afterwards when.
I understand that, but if they
all
want to be in the
over.
contest, they have to register and decorate.
so what we're doing right now is we're talking internally, but also publicly. And we're kind of mixing the two together. So,
So I get your point, okay? Lori is concerned that people want to decorate later, and I'm like, it doesn't make a difference. They have to register for the contest and then decorate if they want to be part of the contest.
well, decorating means that this is what I'm envisioning. Somebody's going to say, oh, it's December 10th, I'm going to get my registration in, and then they're going to decorate this weekend.
Right.
Knowing that the registration's done on the 10th.
Yeah.
Now, internally, Stephanie knows that, based on experience, that somebody still might register a little later, so, somebody might say, can I register? I just decorated my house this weekend and I forgot to register. So this is an internal conversation amongst us. How can that, how is that going to be handled? Is that what you're trying to say, Lori?
I guess
A
I'm
little bit?
trying to say we're talking 19th is the last date, but then it's actually going to be cut off for 15th,
Well,
16th, and.
yeah, let me see if I
Want to
can.
make it clear that everybody's on the same page and
Okay.
has the dates to work with.
Let me clarify that if I can, okay?
Thank you.
This is, the final judging is looking at photographs. I mean, all of us take pictures, and then we make our recommendations first. It goes into a central point. Mark, you'll be the one looking at the gang, at what we come out with. And then you call us together, either by sending something out or whatever. And then we look at this again. And that's the judging. The judging is not necessarily going back to a site unless there's a tie, unless there's something that's really puzzling, like there's two of them that we can't make up our minds with. And then, so a lot of it will be, we take our pictures, we identify the house, we label it as one of the three, or not. It depends. Maybe there's a ward in which there may not be one final winner, one category where that you believe is really tops. But whatever it is, our judges then forward everything to Mark, which I think is the right thing to do. You look at it first, and then you send the signals back to us. How does that sound?
There's going to be three categories, and so if it's kids' choice, each ward's going to have three choices. They're going to have the number one, then number two, and number three. And that's per ward, so it all adds up.
Right.
And then the final judging is us. We're going to take that information and go out and look.
We can do that, or we can, if the photographs is clear enough, we can make our decision.
Yeah, photographs.
Yeah, either way.
Okay.
It's something similar to what we did last year.
We did that last year. Each one of us sent photographs in.
You're right. We told the public 11th to 19th, but we're assuming that they're going to register on the 10th. And the judging, we're just hoping they keep their lights on and shut their lights off on the 20th, just to keep them on.
Mark, besides, we may very well go out on the 19th and do some judging, especially on splitting hairs, the ones where we're not sure whether it's this a winner or not.
Right.
Okay, so that's fair enough.
You lost.
Yeah, it all came together last year, and I think we simplified it a little bit this year.
And I can message, because I do remember some comments last year that it took a while to actually go to a particular address and have the lights be on.
Right.
So I can put a note in all of our communications saying, thank you for participating. Now remember to leave the lights on.
And if they don't,
Right.
then whatever.
I'd give my house an example. It's dark now at, what, 4:15?
Yeah.
In my house, it's on a timer for 2 hours, and next thing you know, the lights go off at 6:30, and it's only 6:30. Instead of putting on the 4-hour timer till 8:30. So it seems that dark is, you think that people's lights go on at 4 or 5, but if you go out there at 8, they might be off. So I don't think it's
The question to me is the front end, because for the purposes of creating the list and creating the map for everybody else in the public, there's going to be a hard stop. So if somebody shows up in the middle of next week and says, can I still play, that's going to be hard.
Yeah.
We can't do that.
Stephanie, listen, listen. December 10th, registration ends.
Right.
But in the public right now, it says the 8th, correct?
No, the 10th.
No, it
says
says
the 10th.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, hard stop.
To everyone's point about people doing decorations, they may well not get around to it till this weekend. And I think maybe if Dave is willing, and because the numbers are so much less, last year was
A lot.
challenge to do enough. But
Yeah.
if we get started and we have it 99% complete by the 10th, by this weekend, we might have room for 1 or 2 come Monday morning. But let's say by noon on Monday, that's got to be the full
Done.
hard stuff.
Yeah.
How many did you get last year that were late? 1 or 2?
I don't remember.
It was
I
like
do
that.
remember that Dave and I were saying, "Oops, one more."
I think fewer than 5, though, Mark. I don't think
Yeah.
it was a big.
I don't think it's not going to be an issue, but I think for our time and the kids and stuff is
Do you
that,
have a piece of paper?
don't get out there on the 11th
Right.
judging. Wait until the 13th, 14th. And things got to come together and the mapping and everything. So we're not going to have everything to go boots on the ground and drive around and have some fun until, like the 14th.
But I'll make
I'd
that.
say you have
Go
a
ahead.
list like Monday, right?
I have to go, guys. Sorry, I got to go pick up my son.
Okay, Beth, thank you.
Hey, thank you very much for coming in.
So can we say that leave the lights on from until like the 15th or 16th instead of the 19th? I mean, like definitely for the time we're going to do the contest. No? Okay.
Well, it's a Christmas lights concert, so, I mean, they should have them on for Christmas, and at least have the shut off around, at the earliest, say, 7, 8 o'clock at night, so that at least the judges have an opportunity to drive by your house and they can see it because the lights are on.
The lights aren't on. I'm not going to, why would you sweat it?
So it's dark at, let's say it's dark at 4:30, and somebody has, like me, has an automatic timer. It's set for 2 hours. Maybe somebody will set it for 4. But that I think if you're in a contest, you'll automatically, hopefully, remember. Another thing that Stephanie can do is just put out saying, remember to keep your light on. That's all you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, she could put hours like 4 to 9 or 4 to 8, but I wouldn't go there. I just keep it simple.
I would too.
It's a
Remember, the
contest.
arithmetic tells us that if there are 40 registrants, and assuming that they're fairly well distributed, that's 8 per ward. that's pretty reasonable for us this year to be able to deal with, go start at 4:30 and I can even walk around from the south end.
Yeah, but I have no idea what the distribution was last
It was
year.
fairly close.
Okay.
It was fairly close.
Hey, Paul?
Yeah.
Paul, do you have an update on the honorable mention prizes, $20 gift certificates?
Well, I've already made my contacts. Rick already has the big prizes.
Yep.
That's why I asked the question is how many honorable mentions we're going to give per category. So, and last year we did 24, which is
Because we had the money.
$600.
Yeah, we had the money, then we just expanded it. But to answer your question specifically, if there's 3 categories, there's winner and an honorable mention.
Oh, for each category? Just two?
Right.
There's 2
Well,
people.
there's a winner and an honorable mention.
Okay,
I can quickly give you the.
There's
count.
$75.
so that's just 6.
No. We have the 3 big prizes,
Yes.
okay, and last year we gave out 8 honorable mentions in each category for a total of 24 $25 gift certificates.
Right.
Okay, so
we
you have the
did-
grand
we did
prize
that.
winner and then 8 honorable mentions per category.
Yeah, we could do that again if we have the certificates.
Yeah, well, that was my question of how many to get.
Well, again, you didn't have a limit last year, so there's no limit this year. And I remember some of us kicked in some money.
Well, the limit is how much money to spend, okay?
Right.
And last year we spent $600. That's 24 $25 gift certificates.
Yeah.
So that's just what that was my only question is how many you get. That's all.
It would be nice
I
if,
think it comes down to how much Paul, you and Mayor Beckstead raise. You're doing you're.
Well,
gathering.
he's already got the 1,500, so the gift certificates are on me. So,
Oh, okay.
So Mark, I just wanted to report back to you. So I just brought up the spreadsheet from last year with the breakdown by ward. And we basically had 15 or 16 per ward with the exception of Ward 1, which only had 11.
Right.
So it was a fairly even distribution. with the
yeah,
exception of
that's okay.
Yeah. So I would expect the same this year, too.
And Mark, if I get more, I get more. That's not an issue.
which is the
Right.
one that had 11, what ward?
Ward 1.
Okay.
Paul, I would suggest that if you get 15 or more, and that's fine.
In
okay?
total.
I mean, in total. I mean, you get as many as you get, and
And
then
we
we
do
decide.
3 by,
Then we
3 or
decide.
so. With
Yeah,
15,
that's
we'll
what we
do
did
3
last
per,
Okay.
per award.
The more we had, the more we gave out.
Yeah, exactly.
If we only have 3 $25 gift certificates, that's all we have.
Understood. But,
Okay.
I don't want to make it less than last year. I want to make it the same or more. So,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay.
no worries.
Yeah.
All right,
And
so,
hopefully
Will you be able to
we'll
do
have
that, Paul?
72 participants.
What?
Hopefully we'll have 70-something participants. Right now, we're at 35.
Yeah, well, hopefully every time I get a gift certificate, they'll donate 3, so that would be the
Just
advantage.
came in.
Paul, do you think that you're going to be able to get all
I
those?
think we keep talking.
Okay.
more
24 is
people
not a problem.
register.
Okay, great.
It's convincing the people I get it from to donate more,
Yeah, right.
All right, Stephanie,
do we have
Stephanie,
anything else?
I'll email you Monday. Stephanie, I'll email you Monday, find out where we're at numbers-wise, and I'll share that with the group in an email.
keep us well informed, Mark, as to what we have to do and where we have to go, and we'll be all set.
okay?
Right. So it'll all come together.
All right,
And, And Lori, thanks for pointing that out about the lights, having people keep their lights on. Hopefully that's their.
That's a good point. Do we have anything else to talk about? Do I have a motion?
Motion to end the meeting.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
8:06 PM.
Yep. Thank you very much.
okay.
Happy
Take care.
holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yep.
All right, thanks.
See you
Thanks.
soon.
We'll speak
Thank
to
you
you.
very much, Stephanie.
We'll speak.
Terrific.